You want to talk about but Biden, but the whole reason we voted for Trump was to lower inflation.
Failure. Sorry, no offense to you, but I was raised in Canada, and I think it's silly that you can have someone elected with 30-something% of the vote, in some cases less. People need to be really careful about what they're looking for, because the decisions, the choices they're making now do affect that outcome. And there will be a return of woke. You will have biological men in women's sports. You'll have biological men in women's locker rooms. You will have deplatforming, and you will have socialism light.
And you see what they're selling, and this is all the Republican Party could do at this point, and sell us fear. Well, if you don't vote for us, the warmongers who portray American people for Israel, you're going to get men and women's sports. They're going to try to trans your kids. They're going to open the border. It's like, so basically you're saying, you're just fear-mongering us. You're basically saying, vote for us who portray the American people in front of your goddamn face, or vote for the people that trans your kids and have open borders. I'm sorry, but at that point, maybe we do need a revolution. Maybe the whole government do need to be gutted out at that point, because y'all tripping if that you're saying that's our option. You're tripping.
Case scenario, if no alternative is presented, because what I hear from these people is not working within and correcting the system, which does have a self-correcting mechanism. You know, we have primaries, we have the ability to generate actual feedback. I would say Donald Trump is usually pretty intent to listen compared to a lot of previous presidents. That's one of the downsides. He's very accessible on social media, or the alternative. But I don't for a second believe that Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are no different. I don't believe for a second that whether it's Rubio, Vance, or Gavin Newsom, whoever's in the polls right now, the Kalshi sheets, I don't believe that they're even remotely similar. And I would vote for Donald Trump again, and I hope that these people would say the same. But I don't know that they would.
You know,
I mean, I heard Tucker.
You know, constant war will destroy this country as well. For some of you guys say, yeah, but the Dems will destroy this country. Yeah, but so will constant war. So will constant Western interference. I mean, the reason why we're so much in debt is because we spent $8 trillion on war. Y'all forgot that, right? I mean, let's be real. When it comes to the war bill, it doesn't mean anything to what we spent on closing the border. It doesn't mean it pales in comparison to what we spend on stopping Dems to trans kids. Like, it's the wars that's mainly fucking us up. But, they're going to try to trans my kids. Oh, the border. It's like, here's the thing. There's sensible Dems that we can lean more towards. I mean, honestly, I ain't voting Democrat. I ain't doing that. But for those of you who feel like you want to, I'm saying, look, if you are, at least go for the sensible Dems that believe in closing the effing border. At least do that. And on the Republicans, look, we got some guys that are coming up now that are trying to speak more on America first instead of just simping out for Israel and Trump.
Carlson, for example, and this is just a criticism of the actual point, he said, to mock someone's religion is to mock someone's faith, I don't want to misquote him, is to mock faith itself. That's goofy, silly, dum-dum talk, and I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. The actual point, he said, to mock someone's religion is to mock someone's faith, I don't want to misquote him, is to mock faith itself. That's goofy, silly, dum-dum talk.
Actually, it is. If you mock someone's faith, then yeah, that is mocking faith itself, because that means you're mocking their God that they have faith in, which basically means that what? You think it's funny? You think it's stupid to worship a God? Oh, my bad. My bad. You know, I forgot. He's a hypocrite, because let that be done to Christianity and you're going to lose your shit. You're going to say, yo, you're basically mocking faith. I'm sorry, but you are, especially if you're mocking Islam, because you're basically mocking the Christianity faith as well, because they believe in all of our prophets. They believe in Jesus coming back as well. So, bro, what are you saying? And I mean, you don't want to sit there and admit it, because I'm gonna be real with you. A lot of these MAGA guys are turning into Christian supremacists. They'll do one thing to another religion that they never want done to their own. They're hypocrites outright.
And I don't agree with it.
The mention of Gavin Newsom, according to Polymarket, Newsom is the red hot favorite to be Democratic nominee.
Oh, guys, make sure you double tap that screen and like the video. If you have any question, comment, jokes, or disagreements, I'll be happy to read it out loud and engage with it. Just $2 and up, or you can set it on Venmo or Rumble. All right, let's get right back to it. 2028
at 24%. However, there's an Instagram post from his wife, Jennifer Siebel Newsom, at the weekend that is raising, concerns, perhaps, but maybe some glee. Tommy Lahren posted, I love this woman. She may single-handedly put Vance or Rubio in the White House in 2028. Let's take a look at the Instagram clip.
Trust me, I'm not a fan of Pam Bondi nor Kristi Noem. But I need to call out that it's no surprise to me that the first two prominent people pushed out of this administration were women. Let me explain.
Well, they was calling us the bimbo woman. They was calling us the bimbo administration. Kristi Noem was out there cheating on her husband, recklessly spending millions of dollars on ads, and now it came out that her husband liked to put on fake tits. Like, what are you talking about? She had to go. Pam Bondi completely effed up with the Epstein files, effed up with the Comey case, effed up with the Letitia James case. I'm sorry, but be real with you, the Trump administration done made female leadership look terrible. Terrible.
The conservative women,
be real with you, this is going to be one of the reasons why we never have a female president.
That Trump handpicks, who align themselves with an agenda that controls women, restricting our rights, limiting our autonomy, and pushing us back into this straitjacket of femininity that is only in service of men. There's a familiar...
Sweetheart, y'all doing it to yourselves by effing up in y'all positions. What are you talking about? Pam Bondi effed up as AG. Kristi Noem effed up as DHS. I'm sorry. But don't sit there and try to play this victim as everybody's being sexist now. No, you guys weren't performing. The best performers in Trump cabinet are all men. All the women are fucking up. And this is why a female will never be president. This is why I do not support female leadership in government. I'm sorry, but if that makes me sexist, then it is what it is, because you keep giving me, well, the proof over and over again.
Pattern here.
It don't matter which side. It either be Democrat or conservative. Women are just good. Women are not good at leadership. I'm sorry. Sue me. It is what it is. I said it.
Women are brought in, packaged Mar-a-Lago style, and lifted up as long as
not all, but 80%.
Commit to wholeheartedly serve the interests of the patriarch at the top. Now, it looks like power or proximity to power with a big title, but it never comes with job security and protection. There's no secure place inside this hand-picked patriarchal body that systemically disrespects...
The women that were on there were hand-picked. Like, what are you talking about? We gave y'all a shot. And then when y'all get fired for effing up, now it's the guy's fault. You see why guys don't like doing nothing nice for y'all no more? Because even when we do it and it don't work out your way, it's our fault. That's not cool. Come on now. We gave y'all a shot. They effed it up. Just start holding them accountable. Actually, we would trust more in female leadership if y'all held each other accountable for poor leadership. Then we'd be like, all right, cool. Maybe we need to put the one in that's actually holding their own accountable instead of just sitting there running cover for them for a bad performance. Like, I'm sorry. I know they were women, but they weren't performing well.
Devalues and discriminates against women and girls.
Now, in the wake of that post, social media has been flooded with some of her previous pearls of wisdom, including saying every problem we have in society will be fixed when women come together, and we need to fight against the rabbit hole of dangerous and limited narratives around what it means to be a girl and boy. And she's also said her husband is working hard to institutionalize their values before leaving office. I mean, is she turning out to be potentially the secret nightmare for the Democrats, do you think?
Yeah, well, what do you mean? A conservative woman taking on more of a feminist tone? I mean, let's be real. All these conservative women who are like political pundits are all feminists. Like, all of them are mainly feminine. I would even say Candace Owens is a bit of a feminist as well. Like, all of them care about their career more than most of them care about their dating life. A lot of these girls aren't married and they just sleep around. And I'm talking about conservative women, by the way. Like, some of them live just as reckless as liberal women do. So this is what I mean by, let's be real. This is not really good when it comes to the leadership qualities. They don't lead by example, but hey, man, they talk a great game.
She should be, but she's not, because that's something that the Democrats embrace. I mean, you're talking about a party where the former vice president, Joe Biden, said that he thought it was an act of evil for parents to not affirm their child's transition. So shouting some bullshit talking points, forgive me, about patriarchy really isn't gonna hackle anybody's feathers. I will say this. She makes a good case for her household voting, 1 vote per household. And when she says rights, what rights are being trampled on? When people talk about the patriarchy, can they explain to me what they mean by patriarchy? When they talk about the straitjacket of femininity, I'm sure you had, I don't know what term you use, grandma, or do you use, what's the term that you guys use in the UK, generally speaking?
Grandma, yeah.
Okay, grandma. Most of the time when you look at a woman who you really admired and you say, they don't make them like that anymore, incredibly feminine and ironically was a matriarch, wasn't she?
Yes.
But no one said she has job stability. They said she made the house a home, hearth and home. Everyone wanted to be at grandma's house because everyone felt safe and everyone felt nurtured. And that is something that has been shunned by feminism, by the way, at their own peril. If you want to look for the root evils that plague most of modern society, look at feminism in the 1960s. And I'm not talking about wanting to put on a two-piece and go out to the beach. I'm talking about this idea that men and women are fundamentally interchangeable and that somehow we need to do away with masculinity. And you want to know how you know it's not true? Bear Grylls has that show, The Island. Go watch the season where the women there's an all-women's
and
team.
that was the best Kevin Samuels like argument ever. It's like, bro, we just operate differently. Go look at that. What was it? It was when they put a group of men in the wild versus a group of only women in the wild. And the men, these guys literally started building civilization on that island. These women, bro, they're going through it. Like, bro, they're cold. They can't get no shelter. They can't hunt nothing. They don't got anything going on. And these women are highly educated. Same thing with the men as well. They were highly educated men left alone on an island versus highly educated women left alone on the island. The men prospered, the women deteriorated to the point where the guys had to come in there and save some of the women because they were on the verge of getting extremely ill. Like, bro.
An all men's team. And it reflects statistics that we see that men have longer, more long-lasting, meaningful relationships. They have greater sense of loyalty, ties, duty. They're more willing to die for their friends. Women are jealous. Feminists are jealous because they claim to be these great emotional communicators, even though they don't want traditional relationships, but they want the guy to pay for the dinner bill. They don't want to go Dutch. Men say what they mean, and men are better at friending. That's the great irony in all.
That's why females want guy friends, because they barely like being friends with each other. Am I lying? Of course not. But all right, guys, let's make sure we're double tapping that screen and liking the video. Let's get those likes up. Let's get more people in on the conversation. Appreciate the support, guys. We're cooking.
Of this. Women tend to, because men are violent, right? We'll deal with our fists often, not all the time, but there's a certain line that you don't cross that holds us accountable, that keeps us in behavioral order. Women don't have that. So there's often gossip. There's often backstabbing. And you know the thing, too, they talk about how all these problems that plague society, as though having women in charge has never happened. Now, there's an exception. Thatcher, by the way, hopefully she's a national hero to you guys. Very strong woman. As a general rule, historically, women have had a shot running societies. Do you know why it stopped? Unfettered cruelty.
Yeah.
Unfettered cruelty. A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, this is going way too far.
Like, bro, some of the most cruelest rulers were women. Like, some of the most outrageous ones. Like, there was literally a woman overthrown because she was just killing people left and right. So that's a problem with some women, believe it or not, is unusually cruel.
The idea that somehow women will be peaceful, that women will all get along and they'll be able to hash it out communicatively, flies in direct opposition.
Well, also,
I'll be real with you. If the world was only women, bro, they'd have got into World War III, a whole nuclear fight like 10 years ago.
Some of the most bloodthirsty, ruthless mass murderers in leadership history in the world were women.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the other part of this. And I've done
that's
series.
Not exclusive to either sex.
I've done crime series of literally called Killer Women, where they've done despicable things. So this idea they're immune from some of the traits that they love to throw at men, I think is a little far-fetched. On this issue, this ever-burning issue of the trans women competing in women's sport, for example, recently the International Olympic Committee said that they were going to ban trans women from competing in women's sport, which of course is obvious because the Olympics are split on sex-based rules. We have male, female, because otherwise the females would not win more than about one medal, I think I read. But no, Megan Rapinoe, who was, of course, the star of the US women's soccer team, football team, she has come out and says this is outrageous. And this is why she said it's outrageous.
This committee is framing it as based in science, which it's not. And this will ultimately just prevent people from competing within the women's category that they feel like have an unfair advantage. It's just really hateful. It's like there's been so few athletes that are trans or competing as trans, and it's like so blatant on its face. It's just a total act like acquiescence to the Trump administration and to really right-wing conservative politics.
I mean, what struck me about that was that she doesn't think this is a science-based debate. What could be a more scientific-based debate or ruling than that people born with a male physiology should not be competing against people born with a female physiology, because obviously the male physiology is more powerful, bigger muscle mass, bigger lung capacity, better for endurance, for speed, for power. It's obviously the most glaringly obvious example of why it's science-based, isn't it?
Yeah, and if you give me a little bit of space here, I do want to expound on that. First off, the root issue.
And like, guys are better under pressure. I mean, shoot, women under pressure, a good amount of them have mental breakdowns. Men under pressure, I mean, shit, we just lose hair. I mean, that's it. Ain't that bad. But then having a complete mental breakdown. But no, we'll just lose some hair. Tough, but it is what it is.
Here is feminism. She says something so mind-numbingly stupid because she's a feminist lesbian in a boys' cut who's never been held accountable. You could ask her one question. What science says you can be born into the wrong body? It doesn't exist. Every study we've conducted shows the opposite. I'll give you 2 more case studies. My sound guy, Billy, by his sophomore year in high school, we found out he was a D1 athlete, swimmer. You wouldn't know it to look at him. He would have literally broken every senior female's record, would have beaten every single Olympian in that pool, and he was a chain smoker. Leah Thomas went from rank 500 and something to number 1. And of course, we know that that obviously is in line with bone density, with lung capacity, with muscle mass, with hormones. You go to UPenn, by the way, Leah Thomas, and that's where I was supposed to be speaking this Friday, a debate with a professor. We put up the money. We said their rules, their moderators. They said you can't live stream. They changed the rules last second. We went through this whole saga if we want to discuss it. The women came forward. I believe it was 16 women. Someone can fact check me. I think it was 16.
Hey, now shout out to my man Jason. Yeah, that little B said that, and now she's retired. I mean, yeah. Oh, she says that way. Oh God, let's make sure to double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Let's see if we can get to let's see if we can cross that 450. Let's even get to 450 likes, guys, by double tapping that screen. We got about 800 of y'all in here.
Came forward and said, hey, we're uncomfortable with the, if I may say, the cock and balls in the locker room. It's making us uncomfortable. This wasn't even related to the medals. Did they run an investigation? No. They sent them to the counselor, which, by the way, happened to be at the LGBTQ Center for effectively re-education. They had to file a lawsuit, and the president of the United States had to step in. While these people say that they are pro-free speech, hey, those women don't get that back. Those women who lost those medals don't get it back. But they will silence speech, someone like perhaps yourself, we're aligned on this issue, or myself, where I show up and say, let the games begin, an open debate for anyone to attend. Give us your best, professor, and we'll argue about this. Well, then you can't live stream. They're not protecting the most vulnerable among them because there is no rooting in morality. They don't believe the left is a monster, a Frankenstein monster created from different.
I'm real with you. Yeah, guys, people on the left, y'all do got to beat out that, look, the transing of kids, the open borders. Look, man, just liberals, get rid of the leftists and y'all will be a more viable option. Like MAGA, get rid of the pro-Israel, pro-war guys, and you guys will once again be a viable option. If not, you guys will sink your parties and will have to rely on the independents. And I mean, who knows what's going to come out of that?
Parts of moral relativism. That's the only way that you get gays for Palestine, and it's the only way that you get feminists for men beating the crap out of them in women's sports. It's
but
because their loyalty is to Marxism.
What's extraordinary is if you go back to the most successful Democrats of, let's say the last 30, 40 years, Bill Clinton and Obama, they have repeatedly warned the Democratic Party not to go down these hard left woke rabbit holes of issues like the trans issue, because they can see how preposterous it is to deny actual.
And here's the thing: I actually talked to guys on the left and, well, actual liberals, not leftists, and they don't believe half of that. Like, bro, you're a common Democrat. I'll be real with you. Most of the guys I talk to, they don't believe in that. I mean, you guys hear me talk to Sid. He's not for open borders. He's not for transing kids. He's for none of that. My man Chad, he's not for any of that. So there's a lot of guys on the left I talk to, and they're not for that. The problem is, though, is that the right likes to fearmonger as if it's every leftist who's for that. All right, is it every leftist, or my bad, leftist or liberal that's for abortion? Sure. But most of them guys are not for transing kids. Most of those guys are not for open borders. It's just what a few of their party that have committed to. Sadly, it went all the way up to the president, which is, well, Biden.
Science. Why is the penny not dropping with Democrats? Why are they still trying to cling on? Why are people like Megan Rapinoe, who presumably would like her side to win power to effect the changes she wants, why are they prepared to die on this absurd hill, do you think?
They can't not. It's not permissible. And I mean that quite literally. This is why you had, remember when we had all those debates, there was like 12. The last time we had a primary in the Democrat Party was, I believe, 2012. Quite the Democratic Party there. None of them. They started bragging about how they all had an F rating from the NRA, and they dunked on Bernie because he only had a D-. There is not a single Democrat in the United States on the national platform who doesn't support transitioning and men and women's sports. You have someone like Gavin Newsom who will lie and say that he didn't. We've run the clips where he obviously did. And you will not find a single one who will put any limits on abortion whatsoever when the context is up.
I don't know, bro. Not a single one, bro. You sure? 100%. I don't know about that, dog. I think if I talk to a good amount of some Democratic politicians, at least a few of them are gonna sit there and be like, whoa, transient kids. Oh, I don't know about that. Whoa, 6-9 month abortions. What are you talking about? Hold on. We can't say all of them. Not all of them are that crazy. Most of them are. Though. Most of the politicians do actually follow that BS. But the voters, most of them don't.
To and including birth. They can't because their loyalty is to Marxism. They see everything through the prism of oppressor and oppressed. And that's why, okay, today it's white and it's black, and then, okay, it's stop Asian hate, but we find out that it's mostly black Americans committing the violence against Asians. We'll do away with them. They're not useful pawns to us. Okay, today it's gays, gay marriage, but tomorrow, okay, women, we're going to call them TERFs. And I will tell you this, mark it down. Gavin Newsom's wife, guarantee you won't be able to help herself and will support all of this silly shit. And I haven't spent that much time researching her, but I know she's a feminist, and that's all it takes.
Oh, she said some ridiculous things. This debate you are going to have then with the historian Jonathan Zimmerman at the University of Pennsylvania on Friday, ironically about free speech. Because of this block they've tried to impose on you live streaming this, is that now happening, that debate, or is it off?
We're at a standoff where, we reached out to them to give you an idea. This has been going on for a long time. So it's actually 10 years in the making, 10 schools, $10,000. When I started to change my mind, we always invite, this is kind of the first time someone did that on campus. We invited professors out. They were more interested in banning us. We have been repeatedly trying to communicate with them, but they've called the campus police to remove us. So we issued a call out to 10 schools, 8 Ivy League, said send anyone from the humanities program, poli, sci, philosophy. Obviously, I'm not going to argue geothermal regulation with a geologist. We said, you pick the moderator, you pick the rules, we'll come to your home turf. We'll even give $10,000 to the department of your choice. We're just going to live stream it. So easy that a college dropout comedian host can do it. Was agreed upon. We live stream every day, as you well know. Then they let us know. They even actually sent us the costs, the riders for us to bring our own live streaming equipment. They said, no, we're not going to allow it. And I just got an update.
If anything, I'm looking forward to the debate he's going to have with Myron Gaines on the Iran war. I wonder how he's going to do against him, because I ain't gonna lie, like that man, Myron Gaines, when it comes to cooking the pro-war guys, flawless victory. Him and Dave Smith. Dave Smith is who you rather debate. Myron Gaines, I mean, let's be real, he's been more of a controversial figure. But all right, though, let's get into our guy PBD as he gets into it with this whole, nut jobs and troublemakers that Trump was calling Tucker Carlson, Kenneth Owens, and Megyn Kelly and Alex Jones. Guys, don't forget to double tap that screen and like the video. Appreciate the support.